As we settle in for some hot heat this summer, the plants in our gardens are too. So Emma is here with some pro tips on summer gardening and growing heat-resistant plants. Emma, it's so good to see you. So first off, how should we approach gardening in the summer?
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. Well, I think when you're thinking about gardening in the summer, one thing to note is just like people, plants also, there's some that prefer the really hot weather and there's others that prefer the cooler weather. So we think of things like tomatoes and peppers that love the heat, and then on the opposite side we have things like peas and radishes and a lot of salad greens which actually prefer the cooler weather. So I want to point out that when you're deciding what to plant, you should think of some of these things and maybe wait until later in the summer so that they can mature in the fall, or wait until early next spring to plant them, because even though they will grow right now, they're actually not going to thrive and do as well. So save that space in your garden now for things that love the heat and just wait off a little bit for some of those cooler weather loving plants.
Okay, so let's talk about the plants that might love the heat right now. What should we be planting right now, Emma?
Tomatoes and peppers and eggplants, they take a longer season, and so they should be in the ground by now and be happily growing. And now there are also things that you can grow like squash and zucchini and beans, and you can still plant those right now. Now another cool thing that I want to point out is something called succession planting. Now basically what this means is, instead of going on a crazy planting spree and planting absolutely everything at once, you should plant maybe a row of carrots, and then in 2 weeks plant another row of carrots, and a couple weeks after that plant another row. And what that basically means is, instead of planting those 3 rows of carrots at one time and then having way too many carrots that no one can eat, that way you're going to have a continuous harvest of carrots you can enjoy all summer long. And you should do that with things like carrots, but also anything that matures fast, so bush beans and other salad greens as well.
Ooh, okay, that is a really good tip, because you don't want to be inundated with all these vegetables that are just going to go bad. So very smart. Now it's salad season, so I have to ask, what about salad greens? Can we grow them in the summer?
There are a lot of salad greens, and a lot of them do prefer the cooler weather, but it can be done so that we can enjoy those delicious summer salads. So one thing to note is that when it gets super hot, a lot of salad greens, and especially the most popular ones like lettuce and spinach and arugula, they will actually do something called bolting. And what that basically means is that that plant is going to send up a flower stalk, and it's going to flower, and if it's pollinated, it will set seeds. And this is bad for us gardeners if we're looking to eat those plants, because all that energy is going to the flowers, and that means that first of all, they're not producing all those yummy leaves for us to eat, but also sometimes those plants get a bit of an off taste. So lettuce, for example, it's actually going to go bitter when it sets seeds, and so, I mean, sometimes you may want a bitter flavor, but that's often not what we're looking for when we plant lettuce. So I actually have an arugula plant here, and you can actually see that it has a big main stem going up with some little flower buds on it. And that's not exactly what you want when you plant arugula. So a few more tips for you. Make sure that you water your summer greens a lot, because when the weather's like this, they're going to wilt really fast. And also you can plant them in partial shade. So if you have a partially shady garden spot, that's great. You can also plant them underneath a bigger plant. So if you're growing peas up a trellis, plant them under there, or plant them under your larger tomato plants as well.
Okay, good tip. Now, are there any salad greens that won't bolt in the first place?
So there are some salad greens that are biennial, and basically what that means is that they will send up those flower stalks and they will set seed on the second year of their lifespan. So if I grow them now, I'm not going to have to worry about them actually sending up seeds and bolting. And so some of those plants are things like Swiss chard, which is really beautiful. First of all, it goes amazing in an ornamental garden. It's a great spinach substitute. It makes a great spanakopita. Another great one is kale, which is delicious, also really beautiful. So those biennial crops are perfect because you don't have to worry about them bolting.
I got to ask, Emma, you're a teenager, right? I'm imagining you get a lot of veggies in your diet since you're growing all of this stuff. Am I right?
Oh yeah, we eat a lot. I mean, all this stuff on the table here, all the basil and the kale and the greens, that's going to be dinner tonight. If you get people to grow greens themselves, they're going to taste a lot better and they're more likely to eat them. So any parents out there who want to get their kids to eat greens, just get them to grow them.
You are absolutely right about growing your own stuff and getting the kids to eat their own stuff, because my daughter's 10 and she's got a school project where she has to start seeding. She's growing a radish, and every morning she's on top of looking at this radish grow, and it's the most incredible thing. So now I'm going to get her to eat radishes because she's excited about it. Nice. Emma, we're so excited to have you with us. Thank you so much for all of your expertise. You always bring great tips, and thank you for getting us, maybe eating a few more greens. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and happy growing.
Happy growing. For everyone at home, the tips that Emma gave us are all up on our website if you ever need a little refresher.